and you really thought about nursing and who you were before you even went into the field, then look, right off the bat, they're not the one. Hey folks, it's Queen Gina and welcome back to The Haven. I'm so happy for you all to join me here once again. So today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different, something that I have been knowing that I'm going to talk about, but not quite sure when I was going to talk about it. But recently, for like the past probably like a couple of weeks, like it's been kind of coming to me like what I want to say. So I was like, you know what, why not? Why prolong it any longer? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the topic for today. So today, y'all, we are going to be talking about the pros and cons of nursing. So you want to be a nurse, eh? Okay, I am going to give you seven pros and I'm going to give you 7 cons. So let's go ahead. Let's start with the pros first. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the pros. Number 1 pro with nursing. Nursing, like I'm sure many people may have heard before, it is a very versatile field. In fact, maybe even too versatile in some ways, because like literally you can start at one level, get to another level, as I'm going to talk about a little later, but it's very versatile. So depending on how much of a degree or how much you go to school depends pretty much on how broad you can go with nursing. You get your registered nursing degree or get your bachelor's degree in nursing. Look, you've got a whole lot of options in front of you. You can end up going and being like a teacher in nursing, or you can be like a travel nurse, you can work in office, you can work in management. There are a lot of different areas you can work in nursing. And also, you can also become like a business owner, like own like your own little like nursing home or assisted living area for people if you want to do that. There's like so many options you can look into when it comes to nursing. Number 2 I have for the pros of being a nurse is it is a field where you get to meet lots of different people. Lots and lots of different people. Like you are prone to meeting so many different people from the public. Some people you get to know more than others, but you get to see a lot of different personalities, a lot of different perspectives, and it can be something that is very something that shifts your perspective on life and helps you grow as a person. Number 3, when it comes to nursing, you're thinking about nursing, if you're that type of person where you like to give back to society, which I feel like a lot of people should personally, but if you like to give back to society, if you like acts of service, it's a field where you can give back to society. Of course, you get reimbursed for it, but it is a way that you can definitely give back to society in many different ways. So number 4, nursing is a field where if you let it, it will improve your personal growth, like as a person. It also improves your critical thinking and your discernment. And that tends to be in nursing, and it's something that you take out into regular life as well, your day-to-day life. So if you let it, if it's more than you just going into the field to make money and to earn a living, it is going to improve your personal growth as a person, because it's a place where you're helping people, and it's also a place where you're going to be faced with different scenarios, different stories, and those things are going to cause you to think and to process information in a very deep way. So number 5, if you all are wondering, nursing, I'm going to be completely honest, provides a decent income. But it has to be, nursing is one of those careers where it's not necessarily easy money. You're gonna work for your money, okay? And it also is how much you decide you're gonna put into, like how much effort are you gonna put into it. How proactive are you going to be in nursing? Like there's some people who have a goal for themselves, like they one day want to be like a nurse practitioner or things of that nature. So it just depends on what you put into it. But therefore, nurse practitioners, depending on maybe where they work or what doctor they work for, they put in a lot of work. So it's not something where you're not going to work. You are going to work hard for your money. There are people that make really good money as far as, like I was saying before, perhaps owning their own business and things of that nature, taking care of people. You're going to work for your money, okay? So if you're thinking about, oh, all I have to do is like go in and do this, nursing is not that place for that. However, if you decide to be just like a floor nurse or just like work in a hospital, you'll be able to, if you manage your money well, then you'll be able to have a decent little savings and maybe be able to have a home one day, just have like a decent life, maybe not anything extravagant. If anyone ever told you, oh, nurses are rich or make a lot of money, things of that nature, not necessarily. It really isn't. It really that isn't that at all. A lot of people, like they say, when they say nurses are overworked and underpaid, I will say in a lot, not every instance, but in a lot of instances, that is true. So number six, nursing is a good field to get into if you are deciding to go into or are thinking about being something higher in the medical field, like say for instance, like a doctor or things of that nature. Like I said before, nursing is kind of like, it's a stair step thing. So if you want to test the waters, perhaps you would want to start off being like a certified nurse assistant, which really is a nurse, but it's like a level of nursing where you don't have as much responsibility, but the job is just as important as a licensed practical nurse or a registered nurse's job. And then from there on, if you like what you're doing and you want to accept more responsibility, then you will go ahead and perhaps do like a licensed practical nurse or get maybe your associates in doing a registered nurse. I would tell everyone, and I tell everyone now, don't stop at licensed practical nurse unless you just really want to be squared off or just pretty much be in like a certain area and you're really not trying to do a whole lot in nursing at all, then of course don't. But if you want to kind of like test the waters in different areas, you want to go ahead, and my recommendation is get your bachelor's in nursing and become a registered nurse. Number seven. So number seven, you really have to be careful with, of course. Nursing is an opportunity for you to minister to people. If we look in the Bible, the way that God ministered to people most we see is through healing them or whatnot. And nursing really is that in many different ways. Not only is it physically, as far as like giving people medications and taking care of their wounds, but you're also there to provide kind of like a support system for people in a way. You're there to be an advocate for them, and you are also there to speak words of encouragement to people and things of that nature. So definitely it is an area of where you minister, and I'm not encouraging anyone, of course, to be trying to push their religion on anyone or things of that nature. Unless like a topic comes up, it's very advisable, I would say, to just keep those topics. They don't encourage nurses to get into deep discussions with people. In my perspective, that really doesn't help people anyway. Every now and again, you will get people who are very what is it called? They are very religious minded, or they're really into politics and things of that nature, and you really have to learn how to be discerning when it comes to that area and talking to people, and have critical thinking. You have to know how to kind of like read people a little bit and know what is okay to say and what isn't okay to say. A lot of times you have to let people lead in conversations of that sort. So it can be a pro and it can be a con sometimes too. You have to be very careful. So on to the cons. So believe it or not, it's easier to come up with the pros in nursing rather than it is with the cons, because there's honestly only like a few cons, but there's just like kind of one con that can be really huge if you get my drift. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So I'm going to start with the one that is most popular and everyone talks about. Nursing can be stressful. Yes, nursing can be very stressful. And how I've seen it, no matter where you go in nursing, something is going to stress you in that area, because what people don't understand sometimes is there's a lot of times there is policy and procedure involved with nursing and like the different institutions that you work in, and that can cause like stress when it comes to like trying to make deadlines and productivity, being efficient and effective, and things of that nature. And then on top of that, you've got to worry about like your patients. They can cause stress. Even if people, they don't necessarily have to be mean or hateful or anything like that. They just have needs that need to be met. And a lot of times that can cause stress because you are trying to juggle a whole lot of different things in one day or in an allotted amount of time. So that can be very stressful. And then of course you have, behaviors, of course, from people. They don't necessarily have to be an elderly population to have behaviors. You and I can have a behavior because of the way we cope with the different things. And nurses are taking care of people when they are a lot of times at their most vulnerable, at their most transparent state. So they're not like, haven't put on their best face as they would if they were just going out to like the public or meeting with friends, or, say for instance, like when you are sick, you kind of like, you're in a low, weak place. So, those things the nurse is like taking on, but not trying to absorb, but trying to hold it and trying to like manage all of it. And so that's where like the different stresses come from in nursing. But over time in nursing, you grow like a muscle. So that's one reason why they say sometimes that certified nursing assistants make the best nurses, because I believe they've kind of built a certain muscle. They kind of know what to expect. They understand they've already been placed under a little bit of pressure. So they're ready for the next step, for that additional pressure kind of to be added on. Speaking a little bit more of that, when it comes to stress, the cons also include, the stress cons include burnout. With nursing, you can be working and giving and working. Say for instance, like if you work a long shift, a 8-hour shift, and it's a really hard day, you go home, like you sleep, then you go in again. Sometimes you're working and you're exerting and giving of yourself, and you're not necessarily like replenishing everything. So that ends up being like a burnout, and it's something that's kind of comes on you very sneaky, but it can reveal itself with, you just feeling either like sad or down, easily agitated by people. I'm having difficulty with critical thinking, just feeling physically tired, they just feeling weak, muscles feeling weak, feeling like achy, sore, things of that nature, where you just kind of come to the point where you've kind of overexerted yourself. Number 2 con with nursing, I know for me back in the day and other people, they don't make nursing school easy. Nursing school is not easy. It may be easier for some now, and it's definitely a place where you really have to work hard in order to like make it through. It's not necessarily, okay, I follow the rubric and do the work, do the homework, and then get through. It's more so kind of, it can be sort of a weeding process. And I know that I have my own stories where there have been like instructors and things of that nature that have put more pressure or been like harsh on certain students to either prepare them or either to just kind of make them discouraged as one to not to go ahead and finish. But that's kind of like a whole different story. I have my own opinions on that. So, but yes, that's another con with nursing. Is definitely a challenge. It's something that you have to really want, because nursing school is not a walk in the park. Number 3, so it was also a pro, but it's also a con. So number 3 is if you're a reserved person, or if you're someone who doesn't really like to be around a lot of people, or is overwhelming for you to be around the public, things of that nature, you're going to be around the public. You're going to be around the public. You're going to be around a lot of different beliefs. You're going to be around, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different personalities, things of that nature. And you have to be very respectful of people's beliefs. Not necessarily, believing it yourself. You have to be respectful, and you cannot, if it's something that you're against, you cannot show that. You have to be respectful, and you have to look at people as people in needing care and needing your help. As a nurse, you have to be kind of like set apart. So yes, you're dealing with the public. You have to be in front of the people. Depending on what nursing job you have or whatnot, it's not a job where you can show like a whole lot of I have to be careful when I say this, because you always have to maintain, that's what I'm looking for. You always have to maintain your composure. So like, you can show emotion, but you have to be careful how much you show your emotion. You can't just be getting angry and like hollering at people and things of that nature. I know people see like stories in the news where people, are abusive to people, things of that nature. It's a very, it's a space where you have to maintain your composure, because people read vibes. People are spiritual people first before anything. So people read vibes, they read body language, all that different stuff. So it's a very like personal, you see people's bodies, like all that stuff, and you got to be ready. If you're not ready for that, then it's not the career for you. So next con that I have, and I briefly mentioned it before, is you work hard for your money. So I know some nurses work for salary, and then there's some nurses that work by the hour. So like, look, you can get some things that you want or whatnot by doing like extra, like picking up an extra job, things of that nature, but you better really manage it. Because it can make you or it can break you. Okay. So you really have to, I encourage people in nursing to practice balance, because like you can work, but you have to look at like, what is it costing you? Okay. So yeah, you can work, but you're going to work hard for your money. Another con when it comes to nursing, and it has to be this way though a lot of the times, is you are required a lot of times, depending on where you work, it is required of you usually to work weekends at some point, and holidays. It's not like a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday type thing. You have to really think about what you're willing to give up in that area. A lot of nurses like the ideal job, even though sometimes it doesn't maybe pay as much as working Monday through Friday, finding that job. But like it seems with a lot of things, of course, the easier ones to find and maybe the easier ones to obtain are the ones that you're gonna have to work weekends and holidays. One of the next cons that I have is balancing like work and family life and making sure that you are available like for your family, like your husband, things of that nature, if you have them. I encourage people, like if they're younger and single and nursing, that's the time that you really like work hard and try to stack your coins, things of that nature, and kind of go where you want to go in nursing, because it's hard once you get the job and working and then taking care of family and then somebody talking about going back to school. Like, you better have a good support system. They already tell you in nursing school that you really shouldn't be working. They advise people to like get loans or, you know, have somebody else to help them get through or whatnot. And look, it gets even harder when you like land the job and then you want to go back to school. So try to get everything you're trying to do now before you decide you want to start a family, because you really have to practice balance. You have to practice balance, because I'm sure that, you know, there are a lot of people whose family aren't as supportive, maybe whose spouses aren't as supportive, and it can be tough. I've heard some horror stories. It may be a career where it's hard to date. I've had that difficulty. I've had people, honestly, and I didn't really think about this. There are some people who think like nursing is like, you know, cool, but unfortunately, I'm just going to be transparent when it comes to guys. When they think of nursing, they think of something kind of like erotic, unfortunately. Instead of actually thinking about it seriously, it's more of kind of like a selfish thing for them of like, oh, she's a nurse, what can she do for me type thing. So instead of looking at it like, you know, it's my career and, you know, things of that nature. But then some people know exactly what it is, and they may have dated a nurse in the past and realize that that person wasn't as available to them as they would have liked them to be. You know, if people have a hard time dealing with the fact that you're somewhere taking care of other people or maybe taking care of other guys and you're not there taking care of them, and then when you get off of work you're tired and you don't want to do this, or you're not available to fit in their schedule, or you're working weekends and you're working holidays, like how is that going to work out, blah blah blah. So that's another thing to take into consideration. However, I will say that it is a good weeding, when it goes to like weeding people out when you're dating, if they're not down with, you know, you being a nurse and things of that nature, and you really thought about nursing and who you were before you even went into the field, then look, right off the bat, they're not the one. Right off the bat, they're not the one, because yeah, they can't deal. So anyway, y'all, that concludes my pros and cons for nursing. I hope you all gained something from this video. If you all have any questions or any comments, please go ahead and put them in the comment box below. And yeah, go ahead and like and subscribe if you are enjoying this content so far. And look, you all have a great rest of the day. And if you're getting ready to go to bed, go ahead and have a good night's rest. Talk to y'all later. Bye.